Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about AEA Learning Online's personalized learning system for teachers. And in the beginning of this video, I'm going to be looking at the way that I model / allow educators to investigate the tool. So when we think about the questions in the prompt, this first portion is going to be looking at questions A and B, and then I'll afterwards talk a little more about how this tool can be used to support digital citizenship and empower student learning. So the first thing you want to do when I model this in a session with educators is I have them come into the room and I have them log into our system. And once they're logged in, they'll arrive at their personalized home page. So this page will look a little differently for people depending on what they are enrolled in and what they have completed on our system. As you can see, I have a lot of things listed under my currently enrolled, and if we were to scroll down to look at my history, I would also have hundreds of things there. Most people don't have that many, but again, since I work in this system quite a bit, I do it. So once I explain this to them, and then what I have them do is I have them go to the catalog and search conferences. And you can see that there are 3 modules with a blue icon in front of them. One is called Facilitated Online Learning, one is called a Personal Learning Network, and one is a Self-Paced Online Learning. So at this point, I really let the participants select which of these 3 modules they're going to take. And most of the time when I do this, participants are able to look at all 3, but again, trying to model the idea of that you get to select the content you're wanting. That's the idea of it. So they get to do that, and they can do that by clicking on register. I'm going to actually click on one that I've started taking earlier. And you can see the module appears with the first page here, and the table of contents is there. And participants can either include the table of contents on their left, or they can close it and look at the content full page. And so again, this is just a very short module where people get to select the content that they want to view, and it takes them through what they can do. And this has some outcomes. Again, we're trying to model how we might change the way professional development is done. So this page talks about some of the constraints of face-to-face professional learning. And then if you could break through the barriers of that, we've got a couple of things here that talk about how self-paced learning and modules on the system allow for changes. And then what if you could break through some of the traditional barriers by creating flexible professional learning that people can access when they need it. If they missed it, they can make it up, and that they can always go back and review it. Start anytime, complete on your own schedule, and there are opportunities for both license renewal or graduate credit. We give a little bit, a very brief overview about the things you experience in a module: readings, videos, links to resources, interactives, check for understandings, opportunities for reflection, and then the ability to review. And here we talk about some of the different content options that are available. We also have give people the background information on some of the administrative features. So if I have a whole staff that might be doing a module, here are some things that you can assign to whole staff or individuals or groups. What does reporting look like online? So that if you need to monitor who's completing what, you can do that. And then we have a video to learn about how AEA Learning and Heartland have partnered to create ongoing PD. And we hear also some details from people who have used the system and how it's benefited their staff. And then on the final page, we have information about the the fact that you are going to experience a quiz page. You're going to look at a video on how to upload an artifact, and then once you've completed this, you actually can go back and do this exact process. So again, if we think about modeling and investigating, we're really melding these two pieces together in this session. So people are experiencing the platform and they are actually using the tools within it, and then while at the same time just learning how to navigate and things like that. Now it's important to note that once they complete each of these modules, we have some conversations as follow-up about questions that they have or how they might use this within their own contexts. So there's always that opportunity. And then finally, we offer one-on-one consultation with groups who'd like to move forward with actually using the system. Here's an example of a quiz. Self-paced modules can be started at any time. True. Individuals engaging in self-paced learning will engage in it, list some options, all of the items listed, and they can customize them, score my quiz. And you can see you passed and continue. And it has some content information, and then you can mark it as complete. When they do that, then it appears down here. You can see under my training history, self-paced learning. They can download the certificate, like the directions in the one video said, and upload it to their portfolio, which is part of this system. So by going through that individual module, they are having it modeled to them, and they're also able to investigate the system collaboratively with the people at the session with them, and then have some discussion about what that might look like in their context. And we offer supports to do that. This next part asks about using this tool to promote digital citizenship or empowering students' learning. I really think that this allows for that. One of the other modules that we didn't go into was, search this, the Personal Learning Network. And this is talking about the idea of a PLN. And again, we have some of that same content where it talks about traditional PD. What if you want to do something different? And so this really talks about the different ways that people learn. And these aren't traditional. It's not even a module. They may be things like a Twitter chat, or they may be things like an article that you read about online, things like that. And so we have a little information about what a PLN is, and some information about things that might be places where you could go for content related to personalized learning network. And then we have a final step, just like on the last module. So here you might upload a picture of a Twitter chat that you went and participated in. You might also include the link to an article that you read and a personal reflection about what that article said. The nice thing about the portfolio system, which is on the other side of this, whoever you share that with can view these reflections and these learnings and assign credit or recognize that as part of the teacher's professional learning. So when we think about empowering teachers and learners, I think the system really speaks to it because of the fact that on the portfolio side, it's not just artifacts that you gain from our system, but we have a way to allow for people to select the content that they're wanting, which to me, I feel like that selection of content is so important when it comes to empowering student learning when you think of voice and choice. And then allowing them to record it in a meaningful way so that that can be shared either just with themselves for their own keeping it handy if they need to go back and reference it, but also in the cases where maybe their administrator wants to see it, or they need it for evaluation or things like that. I think those are all good ways to do that. The one last thing that I will mention is that if you go to the catalog, we do have a series of modules on digital citizenship, and so you can see all the blue ones, cyberbullying, digital literacy, digital netiquette, digital security. Those modules are. So we could use this tool to help teachers become more aware and thoughtful about digital citizenship and how to do that with students. And again, if a teacher was feeling empowered and this was something they needed, we definitely could provide access. They could just go and register for the individual modules for free or the course if they want credit. So again, to kind of review, I think the best way to think about this is in a face-to-face session where the modeling occurs and the investigation occurs simultaneously by people logging into the system and experiencing the short modules about how the system supports personalized learning. And then having some conversations about what that looks like in their specific context, and then eventually leading to individual consultation where we might help districts or people build their own content or access content that we already have. Then looking at how you might use this tool to support digital citizenship. We have modules on that for educators the goal is to increase their content knowledge around digital citizenship and how to help students gain information about that. And then I think the idea of personalized learning and empowering students is, well, we have content on our system. You can use the portfolio side of the system where people can upload their own artifacts of their learning and be recognized for those efforts throughout. So that is the tool that I am highlighting. Thank you.